I grew up not too far from here, in Charlotte, North Carolina. I went to college about 90 minutes away, and I figured I'd have my first job and potentially my career in the place that I called home. But when I graduated, the economy wasn't great, and I moved to Chicago because that's where the job was. I moved 8 more times since then, to places like Atlanta, Los Angeles, Dallas, Birmingham, and Nashville, because I was chasing career growth and financial stability. All big cities with lots of jobs and lots of opportunity. Most people who grow up in a place like Huntington, West Virginia, believe they have to leave for bigger cities to find good jobs and grow their careers. They go to places like Columbus, Lexington, St. Louis, Nashville, or even farther afield. We know that in smaller towns where earning power is low, people struggle, and their communities struggle with them. It's hard to break that cycle of outmigration without job opportunities that pay higher wages. The cycle of migration is harmful to the state of West Virginia in several ways. It breaks families apart, it drains the state of precious human capital, and it has a devastating effect on the economy. Between 2014 and 2018, 2,817 people moved out of Cabell County, West Virginia, to other states. For reference, that's about 3% of the county's total population. At the end of that period, the average weekly wage in the Ashland-Huntington area was $784. So let's do some very rough math here. Let's assume that $784 a week is consistent for 50 weeks out of the year. That's a $40,000 a year gross salary. Multiply that $40,000 a year annual salary by 2,817 people, and that's about $114 million that left the state over the course of 4 years, about $28 million per year. And that's just one county. West Virginia has 55 counties. When there are few high-paying jobs, there are fewer people buying homes or vehicles or starting families. When there are fewer people banking locally, community banks have less capital to invest locally. There are fewer small business loans. Without small businesses, there are fewer jobs, which means there are fewer opportunities, and people move away. People in West Virginia grow up believing they need to leave to have a future. We believe people can stay in West Virginia and have a future where they have a home. We believe they can build a career, grow a family, and amass wealth that will affect the outcomes and opportunities for generations to come. In 2016, my partners and I started a software company. One thing was certain: we had to come up with an alternative to the common perception that high-quality software development in the US is prohibitively expensive, as it is in most large metro areas. We wanted to bust that myth, to develop technology in places where cost of living was low, but education was both excellent and attainable, and the sense of place was strong. We call this the concept of outsourcing technology product development to smaller cities in the United States, Hereshore. At its core is the mission to provide technology careers, not just jobs, to people in the place they call home. It is enabled by strong partnerships with local government, nonprofits, economic development, and higher education. It involves establishing specific expertise, which for us is community banking and lending technology. And last but not least, it is built upon a strong culture based on shared values. Our company's focus is technology services to help community banks and credit unions extend their online, embedded, and mobile banking offerings. Our team builds digital bridges between older legacy tech and new tech. We connect software systems through application programming interfaces called APIs so that data can flow more easily and bring new and innovative functionality to the market. Those bridges help banks compete and win business, and the bridge building process is called digital transformation. But I think digital transformation is only part of the bigger picture. It's part of a rising tide that lifts all boats. Because when we transform banks, they lift their communities. When we lift our communities, we lift the people in them. And when we lift the people, we grow even bigger and better ideas. We build a bridge from the way things were to the way things could be. You may be wondering, why serve banks? Think about all the things that happen in towns and cities across the country: Little League sports, music festivals, parades, or even job fairs. Who is usually a main sponsor for each of these? Your local bank. Healthy financial institutions are vital to the community. In a December 2020 report, the FDIC noted that Small businesses are key to the US economy, representing the vast majority of all businesses by count and employing almost half of the private sector workforce. Despite holding only 15% of total industry loans in 2019, community banks held 36% of the banking industry's small business loans. If we want our communities to thrive, we need our community banks and credit unions to keep up with how people do business today. To do this, we need people. We need trained, well-prepared API developers and implementation experts. We could offshore this work like many companies do. In fact, the IT services outsourcing market is huge. Last year, in the US alone, companies outsourced more than $92 billion, with a B, worth of work. Offshore work often goes to India, Ukraine, or China because their project bids are usually much lower than what you'll get from New York or California businesses. But there are hidden costs to offshoring. Costs like the price of travel and visas and taxes paid to those other countries. Plus, some companies are uncomfortable, if not outright prohibited, from having data stored on foreign soil. Then there are softer costs, like time zone differences and language or cultural barriers that can make managing a project difficult. All of this adds up, and any savings the company thought they may have had disappear in a hurry. Because of this, when we were creating Core 10, we decided that one of our priorities would be to provide high-paying jobs with good benefits in beautiful places in the US where the cost of living is low and the talent and skill set is high. When you're growing any new idea, you don't do it alone. One of the most important things we needed was access to new graduates and mid-career professionals who wanted to call West Virginia home. Collaboration between higher education, nonprofits, and employers are essential to making this happen. One example is New Force, a 6-month tuition-free full-time coding school that trains adults to begin a new career in technology. The nonprofit Generation West Virginia and the West Virginia Community and Technical College System committed to delivering the kind of technical job training companies like ours need for new hires, funding and supporting New Force through Mount West. Generation West Virginia also provides access to talented individuals with the right skills for a software development career through their Impact Fellows program, which brings new graduates to West Virginia to work, live, and give through a year-long fellowship program at innovative companies throughout the state. Our colleges and universities are also part of this grander collaboration. Marshall and WVU provide recommendations of top graduates in computer science and related fields in each graduating class. And programs such as 2+2, which allows community college grads to earn a 4-year degree, are essential to delivering the next generation of technology professionals in the region. This is how we reverse the migration cycle. With Hereshore, a shared vision and collective investment, 5 groups of people directly benefit in Huntington: students, technology professionals, local banks, higher education, and technology companies. Those direct benefits ripple, and the whole community wins. When people have job security and higher wages, they support more local businesses. They buy homes and cars. They get married. They sponsor little leagues. A Core 10 employee who grows from an entry-level engineer to a senior-level engineer or architect can expect to earn a 6-figure income. This affords the opportunity to not only provide for a family, but to truly build wealth and establish a generational legacy of prosperity. When we all achieve our goals, we ensure the Huntington area thrives. The tide rises and the boats rise with it. We opened the doors at Core 10 in Huntington almost 5 years ago with 3 newly trained employees. One of those 3, who is still with us today, is a mother of 4 who reinvented herself, earning a bachelor's in computer science and a master's degree after raising her family. She's an incredibly talented developer working on mission-critical banking products for a billion-dollar financial services company from right here in West Virginia. She hasn't had to leave, and she's grown personally, professionally, and financially. We're ready to show the world that the human capital of small-town America is powerful, capable, and should not be overlooked or exploited. We want our success to attract more software companies who will provide even more high-paying jobs for West Virginians. It's critical that these companies share our values of keeping opportunity right here at home. Exploiting the area to pull talent and jobs out is not the way forward. We want more businesses to partner with West Virginia schools. We want more opportunities for West Virginia students and anyone who wants to work, not just in this field, but in any industry that traditionally offshores jobs. We want more talent and more opportunity for everyone. What would that look like? Imagine a day when walking down 3rd Avenue in Huntington, you pass the doors of company after company, creating technology that powers America's financial, healthcare, energy, manufacturing, media, and retail sectors. Several of these companies are on their way to becoming unicorns, and their names emblazon the sides of buildings. People spill out onto the sidewalk, talking excitedly, solving problems, together, heading for a quick bite of lunch or a coffee down the street. This is the vision for the Huntington of tomorrow, and for the main street of towns just like it, all across America. Hereshore works best when it is used as an electrifying force to ignite passion and innovation for many, not just the few. In January, we asked the West Virginia Department of Commerce for an economic impact study based on our goal of adding a minimum of 20 new jobs. Here's what they told us. Those 20 jobs will likely mean 7 more jobs will be added in and around Huntington, probably in retail, administrative support, healthcare, food service, and other services. The total impact is an additional $1.6 million in earnings, a total of 27 jobs, and over $50,000 to the tax base. Imagine what could happen if just 3 more companies take this idea and partner with the state and higher ed systems like we did and invest in training and job programs. That's potentially another $4.8 million in earnings, another 81 jobs, and $150,000 to the tax base. Hereshore is how, in time, we'll see a West Virginia with higher wages, lower unemployment, and an even better quality of life. We'll see more people staying in West Virginia when they graduate because they have a more secure future. This is why we're asking you to consider bringing your business to West Virginia or taking Hereshore to another American small-town community. Be part of the rising tide with us. We believe we have a blueprint for the future in which West Virginians stay in the state, build their careers, and build generational wealth. In short, it's a blueprint where everybody wins. Thank you.